Is welcome news should come in. Things are about to change because World War. Well, I guess with the last World War that started in June was in World War One, and so when you talk about this, it was the Central Powers, Entente, and U.S. and the British Empire. And this one is similar to that. It's like, when this is gonna go hot. This is gonna go hot, and you wouldn't be amazed at what could happen to a superpower. And you would be amazed at what a superpower what could happen to a superpower like us during a world war. Regarding the Iran thing, regarding that, you wouldn't be amazed. Look what happened to London. Look what happened to London during World War II. A capital of England, the capital of England. It got bombed for a month or two. It got bombed repeatedly by the Germans. And this is the capital of England. Got bombed. And it wasn't even that big of a deal. It was a big, in its time it was. But you have to realize it wasn't it was so big at the time. It was just so massive that a city about the size of Philadelphia in the capital getting bombed repeatedly by the Germans. You have to realize when this goes hot, and it will, he's going to do it. I think he's probably going to do it. We're gonna join. We all are. When this starts to unravel and stuff, you wouldn't be amazed at what could happen to a country like us. Well, we could probably be like the sum of our fears. Well, they've already conditioned like 9/11, like the Twin Towers. They conditioned the public that for years in the movies and stuff that a city's gonna get blown up in this country. Hell, in the G.I. Joe movie, they had a president, the president, or the archetypal, the fake president blow up a city in Europe with, I think, a nuke. So when you look at this, when you look at the conditioning of what they're gonna do, like the movies in the 90s, they conditioned us that the Twin Towers were getting blown up in the Armageddon films, or in all the disaster movies in the 90s where New York, the Twin Towers gets attacked. And people run from it. There's like scenes in Die Hard where in Die Hard with a Vengeance, where Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis are running from away from the Twin Towers. And so they've always conditioned the public. They're already the public is already being prepared for a nuke. If some of our fears event probably could happen, I give it. Well, it's looking more and more like it's pretty likely, not unlikely, because when you look at what happened in the 90s with the World Trade Center movies. They said, okay, let's make, and then so, okay, so what I'm getting to is, you wouldn't be amazed at what could happen to our country. When this does, all happens, kiss social media goodbye, kiss the internet goodbye, and kiss, digital money goodbye, or electronic money, because it's all gonna, because it can't run during, it's not gonna be able to, they're gonna say this can't run during wartime, a martial law system, because because if you know, you can't operate stuff under martial law. Kind of like how in the 30s or 40s in most European nations, there were curfews because of bombing campaigns and shootings and gunfire. You couldn't even go out, you know. You couldn't even go outside at certain times of day. You know, and let me tell you something. World War III is probably gonna be. It's gonna start. We already are in it. It started. You know, they picked the same time as the same month that World War I happened in, June, with the Archduke Franz Ferdinand assassination, is what triggered World War I. And then, so when you look at this war, you know, when you really look at it, when you look at the Albert Pike, thing, where the 3 World Wars, there's always a sequel. This one will probably use big Oppenheimers. We'll use Oppenheimers will be used in this. And I think it will they gotta, you know, these people, the big whale power people and the big round tables and stuff, they say, how we get the population from 8.5 billion or 8.3 billion to about 3 billion. Well, the pandemics, the scamdemics, the scamdemics, the plandemics don't work. People go boo hiss, and they have this the federal politicians. But it's not as effective as a world war. So World War, I like that idea. World War III. How are we gonna get rid of it? 5 billion people. Okay, that's okay. I like your style. So when you talk about this type of idea, when you talk about World War III, like this, it's all the merrier. And this is what we're seeing now. You know, it's World War III. I wonder where. I mean, and then and then you have to realize within World War, like when you look at World Wars, when they start, because this is probably the start of another one. You have to realize within about, you know, how it starts, and then you have to realize what's gonna be like in 4 years, or what's the world gonna be like in 1 month, or 2 months, or 3 months, or 4 months, or half a year. What's the world gonna be like come the holidays? What's the world gonna be like come New Year's in 2026? You have to realize that, cause you have to realize, like the last, like how are movies going to be when they're going to be incorporating World War III or a global conflict, which this is going to be the global conflict. How are they going? They're going to know how to, and TV shows are going to incorporate this into the film or the show. When you look at, with Iran, we're talking, this is going to be like, that thing where it, and it's kind of historic. This is a very big historic, because you won't be amazed at what could happen to, because if you were to talk about, case in point, if you were to talk about things like the Twin Towers, saying, if you were to go in New York, let's say in 1997 or 1999, and say, hey, in 3 to 5 years, in 7 years, those Twin Towers buildings, those Twin Towers won't exist anymore. People would say, okay, let's put them in a psych hold, or let's put them in a psych hold for about a month. So we're talking about what's gonna be like in a month. What's the world gonna be like in a month? What's the world gonna be like in a year? What's the world gonna be like in 3 years? Exactly. And you wouldn't be amazed at what damage, or, when you look at going back to London, this is the capital. That's the capital of England. That's the capital of England. It got bombed repeatedly, for like months in 1940. During the Blitz. That's because they had a bad prime minister who made bad deals and allowed it to happen. Who made bad deals and just, it was a accident. It was a military. It was a disaster waiting to happen. And when you look at this war, that's the capital of the British Empire. It was the British Empire, the British Isles, Great Britain, their capital. The biggest capital of the British Isles. The biggest city. Getting bombed repeatedly during World War II. We think a capital, like, we already have, when you look at that, and when you look at this, because when you look at, the capital of Iran, the capital is like bigger than New York City. It's about 10 million people, or 15 million. It's about almost 2 times bigger. But when you look at, my take is, when you look at what's, this is not gonna, they're not gonna let up. This is the new norm in geopolitics. This is like the new norm. This is the new norm. This is like the debut of a new wrestler. And this is like a debut of a new wrestler in a WWE match. Or a debut of a new entrance theme for a wrestler that will be part of the gimmick. this is part of a new thing. This is the new escalation. This is the new norm. And when you look at World War III, how you get the population to 3 billion people? Well, they can't do it with the pandemics anymore. They're not effective. They're not as effective at lowering the population. Nothing gets the world's population down more than a war. You know? And then they bounce right up because, you know, after World War II, there was the boomer generation, my parents. After World War II, there was the boomer generation. After World War I, there was the roaring 20s. During World War III, it's gonna be a population. So we bring the population down from 8 billion to about 2 to 3 billion, and then it will pop right back up. It will pop right back up when that happens. And that's how it will probably happen this time. It will pop right back up after the whole city, after the cities are all the rubble cities, and people start to understand how to take care and know how to do it, you know, and how to have a better civilization. So next time, Omega Leo signing off.